We covered a few weeks ago that I like to read a lot of my NBA news, generally on ESPN, and that's where I get all my information. And you sort of said that you like to watch a lot of videos on YouTube and shorts, I guess. And do you watch longer format videos as well to sort of get some of what's going on?
Yeah, so I watch the 10 minute highlights. Sometimes I watch game
Yep.
breakdowns, like
Yep.
specific player highlight stuff. I watch or listen to the talk radio stuff, First Take,
Yep.
The Jump, what's the other one? Countdown.
You like
Yeah, so
J
I watch different one of those.
you like JJ Redick as well, isn't it? What's his take? The
L- Love JJ Redick. Love JJ Redick. Great
so
podcast, great ESPN.
And I came across this article obviously as I was going through, and I'm obviously part of all these like social media basketball groups and stuff like that. I click that like button and I get some feeds and stuff. And I came across this article. I'll read it to you. All right. And it goes, it's about Ja Morant. Obviously, he's still out at the moment. It's not playing. And it says here, the first time I met Ja was during high school freshman year at a camp. I went to tell him how impressed I was by his game. And he cut me off and said, "Where I'm from, nerds with clipboards get studs." And pulled up his jersey to reveal a multicolored Lego Glock in his pants. What? But anyway, he then sighed and said, "You're lucky this set doesn't come with a switch." Grabbed the basketball from under my arm and ran towards the nearest rim. As he rose up to dunk, the gun fell out and smashed against the floor with hundreds of pieces flying all over the place. He landed on all fours and ran out of the gym. He never came back. That was when I knew he was destined to be a star. And it's attributed to an anonymous scout on early concerns with Ja Morant. And I think, Nick, I'm just going to say that this article, I think, has led me to want to just unsubscribe to every single basketball group I'm in, uh, because there's too much rubbish out there that who knows anymore in 2023 what anyone actually says, what actually anything is real. And it's good fun. Just like, 10 years ago, I used to share photos of a potato and you'd go, "This is a photo of a potato, so give it a like," yeah. And, that was a good time filler. But, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how you feel about this. Maybe it's not so bad on YouTube, but, I like to get basketball information, but, at some point I like to go, it's enough with this bullshit.
The trickiest part is the internet gives people access to information and the ability to share information, and that is what it guarantees you. Then we get into the issue of quality and I guess control, right? And so rumors spread very fast, and this Ja Morant situation is perfect because you've got one situation from a year ago, right? That gets dug up because of something's happened in the present. And then obviously more and more people jump onto this. Now, one of the hardest parts is the difference between satire and sincere news, right? So I know that ESPN got caught out for this exact same thing a little bit earlier, where they quoted somebody saying something that was clearly from I guess, satirical Twitter account that kind of misled them a little bit. So uh, maybe you're not talking about an NBA take, you're more talking about an internet take of, do we need to have kind of like the brackets that we have for safe for work? Do we need to have like a satire or sarcasm bracket to make sure that misinformation is not being spread? Because I agree with you, there's a lot of random ESPN stats that people come up with that seem plausible as well, right? You'll read it. It's like Russell Westbrook is the first player to go 0-9 on two different teams since 2017, and he may be. But just like everything on the internet, there's this blind trust that you have of like that seems too specific to be false.
You're right. Talking about stats here, I got another imagery here that I pulled recently. Obviously when LeBron hit the all-time greatest, and he was chasing that all-time scoring record. A lot of talk about him and MJ and GOAT conversation. So this little imagery here basically was when shooting 30 plus field goal attempts, and it's trying to show, and I'll share this with everyone so they can have a laugh at it. LeBron wins in six categories where MJ only wins in four. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." if it was true. And the next question is it true? That's the point, right? That's the whole point. Is it true? And if it's not true, well, it's got some nice photos of our favorite NBA players, right? That's cool. But if it's true, then I don't know. Maybe it's actually something that maybe you have a talk about. But I think that's the part where it's so hard to get accurate information. We obviously sort of rely on accurate information to break down and sort of talk about each week and evaluate and whatnot, making a bit of an opinion on it. But at the same time, it's sort of really limited to only really ultimately the official outlets, because anywhere else is like who knows what it is.
Well, it's the instantaneousness, right? So obviously, anything that's occurring online can be put up in real time, and I guess it's a nice warning to people that you do have to be aware. Watching that Golden State and Milwaukee game was interesting. I went back, during the excessive amount of breaks that I was submitted to, and I looked at the Draymond Green thing because I watched it in real time. Draymond Green rolled his ankle. He came down the court, just nicked it, and he goes to the back. And then the game makes no reference to the fact that he just reappeared maybe 5 minutes later and then he subbed back in and everything was perfectly fine. But you go online, right, and you see Draymond Green trending, and it legitimately says he's went back to the locker room, suspected this and that, may not return for the rest of the game. And in real time, it was 5, 10 minutes tops, where it's like, oh, he's out. He's looks like he's tweaked an ankle. Yep, he's completely back. He's perfectly fine. But then online, there's timestamps of people wondering, has he done a rolled ankle? Is he going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks? And there's all this then projection off that, such as, are the Warriors in jeopardy now? Are the Warriors going to be able to compete anymore? Like, it's, and look, we're probably guilty of it too, to be self-aware a little bit. Like, we feed in this instantaneousness of like, hey, this is relevant right now, and we're going to project forward for what this could mean. And 9 times out of 10, it never comes to fruition. Like I had the Fred VanVleet take before. Maybe no one else is going to critique a ref for the rest of the year specifically, right? But I've got to sell it, right? I feel like we come full circle now. It's like we've broken the fourth wall on what we're doing.
Yo, this is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Faz, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist in giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.